Hey guys, welcome back to Nathan for the M&Ms. Today, we've got a very serious question to debate. But luckily, I think I've got the answer for you. We all know the M&M mascots. You know, you got the red one, the yellow one, the green one, and etc. But what flavor are they really? I mean, we know the red M&M is a funny guy. And the yellow M&M, he's funny too, but what flavor actually are they to begin with? To break it down, here I am. There's 7 mascots, and there's 7 answers. Starting off, obviously, with the red M&M. I think we can pretty definitively say that the red M&M is meant to be a milk chocolate bog standard M&M. You know, he's the main mascot for the brand, just like how milk chocolate is the main flavor for the candy. It just makes sense. And on top of all that, he's on the package of the normal milk chocolate ones, and he is shaped the exact same. Now, of course, considering he's the main mascot, he's also slapped on a lot of other tertiary flavors. However, I think pretty much everyone can agree he is meant to be milk chocolate. In a similar way, we can say the yellow M&M is a peanut M&M. You know, of course, just like how peanut M&Ms are the brother candy to normal M&Ms, the yellow M&M is the brother candy to the red M&M. They're like a dynamic duo. And not only that, but the yellow M&M is shaped the exact same way as a peanut M&M, and he appears on the peanut M&M box and bag. And add on to that he's yellow just like the bags. You got a slam dunk. Now, we start to get a little illicit and a little spooky, I guess you could say. The blue M&M. What possibly could he be? Well, I think we can pretty definitively say that it's almond M&Ms. You might be wondering, what are almond M&Ms? And it's right in the name. But I don't think anybody actually likes almond M&Ms, but I think that's what he is. We got to bring in a very serious and important rule for this breakdown with this guy. Commercial presence. He was introduced and is always displayed as the almond M&M in commercials. Just like how the peanut M&M is the yellow one and the milk chocolate M&M is the red one, he is on the almond bag, and he is shaped the same way as the almond M&Ms. So overall, I think it's pretty fair to say that he is the almond M&M using the same logic that we use for the others. In a similar way, we can say that the orange M&M is a pretzel M&M. This one might be a little bit more controversial. However, there are numerous commercials depicting him and a pretzel being surgically combined. And he also, of course, appears on the pretzel bag. Of course, his characterization is a little nervous. He's always a bit shocked or confused or scared, which, of course, I think any of us would be if we were about to have a pretzel shoved inside of us. Therefore, I conclude that he is the pretzel M&M. Halfway down the list now, we get to the green M&M. This one is probably the hardest challenge yet. You see, just like the red M&M, the green M&M acts kind of like a general mascot for all M&Ms. She appears on a lot of ones, a lot of different flavors, but unlike the red M&M, it's not very obvious what flavor she actually is. You see, of course, she's appeared on many a bag, such as coffee, key lime pie M&Ms. However, I would argue she is a peanut butter M&M. You see, she appears almost exclusively in her own way on the peanut butter bags and boxes. Nobody else is around while they are on the peanut butter bags, while other flavors, such as key lime pie, might also have the red guy chiming in to sing us a little tune. So, I think it's pretty clear that she's the peanut butter M&M. It would also make sense considering it's a pretty standard flavor, and it wouldn't make sense for her to be part of the group if she was like key lime pie M&M or something like that. I mean, yeah, milk chocolate, peanut, almond, pretzel, key lime pie. Peanut butter just makes more sense. And honestly, it's right. Next up, we get to the brown M&M. This one, just a classic office lady. That's how she was always portrayed in the commercials. However, digging a little bit deeper down, this might be our hardest concession yet. What flavor is she? It's like green, but even harder. She appears on multiple M&M flavors that have even a little bit of brown in them. Different coffee varieties, different fudge brownies, stuff like that. Maybe even chocolate chip M&Ms and M&M cookies. However, I believe she is fudge brownie. And I know some people disagree with that, but that's just my opinion. So what are you going to do about it? I believe she is fudge brownie as she has a much richer and more sophisticated personality than the other M&Ms, and I think this correlates to a richer and more sophisticated flavor. In addition, she of course shows up on the brownie bag, and she is the same shape as the brownie M&Ms. And then of course she's brown too. You can't forget that. So overall, I know it's a bit controversial, but I believe she is the brownie M&M. And finally, we get to our last contestant, the newly introduced purple M&M. And actually, this one's pretty easy to nail down. I think it's pretty clear that she's mocha coffee M&Ms. Of course, M&M had other coffee varieties, which were sometimes represented by the brown or green one. However, they've leaned into it a lot more in recent years, as well as having the purple M&M be newly introduced. And she, of course, appears on the mocha packaging, and it just seems consistent with her character. However, it is also possible that she could be another type of nut. You know, she could be the cashew M&M. Who's to say? She does appear on some of those bags. However, she also consistently and only appears on the mocha M&Ms, while some of the other bags for other varieties, such as cashew, sometimes have other M&Ms on them too. Overall, what can we learn from this? I think a big key factor is some of the M&Ms have way more representation than the other ones, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're different M&Ms through and through. Specifically the red, specifically the green, and specifically the brown appear on a lot of different packages. And sometimes it can be hard to comb through it, just like the brambles and the weeds in your everyday life, and understand how it all comes together. However, hopefully you can agree with me with my list. And that's all I've got to say. That's all I've got to say.